So Denise, you know that too much of anything can be too much. A couple of years ago, we had a chocolate fondue for our daughter's birthday. And after the girls and my daughter had eaten a bunch of the chocolate and a bunch of the goodies, our three boys came in and finished the things off. And our youngest son was about 7 at the time. And hadn't learned what happens when you eat too much chocolate. And so that day he indulged himself quite a bit, had a lot of chocolate and had a lot of goodies. And so at the end, when his stomach started to rumble, he grabbed a bucket and had to lean over it for about an hour. And he was crying, "I think I'm going to vomit." And as much as we all laughed about the story and as much as we laughed about what happened, too much of anything can be too much. And COVID's brought about a lot of changes. A lot of changes to our daily schedule. I know for our family, we went from driving our kids back and forth to school and picking them up for sports events, dropping them off at the church for youth and play dates, and all that was taken away. And so what happens is sometimes in families you get so much time with each other and then you're completely isolated from other people. And that brings about a lot of changes within our marriage. Just a couple of things that I thought about as I started thinking about some of those changes. The first thing I think we need to do, we need to take intentional time with our spouse. And what I'm not saying there is that you're both in the same room on your own device doing your own thing. I mean, carve out intentional time. You put the devices away, put away the distractions of the day, and spend time with each other and communicate about what's going on. It's not always easy, and sometimes we have to be creative, and sometimes we think it has to be a lavish getaway at a romantic resort. But sometimes my most favorite memories are sitting around our campfire in our backyard with a cup of hot chocolate. I think it's also okay to take a little agreed upon breaks. Take some time to care for yourself. When I was in Bible college, I was asked to mentor a couple of young women, and I dove in head first. And I spent all this time with them and tried to pour into them as much as I could. But what I had to learn, and I had to learn very quickly, is that my own schoolwork went to the wayside, my own care went to the wayside, my own Bible readings went to the wayside, and a wise professor had to come alongside to me and remind me that a stream can't rise higher than its source. You need to take care of yourself and give yourself a little space. I also challenge you to take action and be proactive. There's lots of us that are lonely. There's lots of us that feel very isolated from other people. And I challenge you to pick up the phone and give someone a call, to go for a walk, to change the way that you're thinking. Instead of waiting for someone to reach out to you, to reach out to someone else. Galatians reminds us to bear one another's burdens and to spur one another on. And I want to challenge us to do that, to carve out intentional time with our spouse, to take time for ourselves, and then intentionally reach out to other people and see how they're doing. Pick up the phone and write a letter, and remember that God wants us to encourage one another.